are kind of their own language, and we can use them to do stuff. So I'm going to take you through some very, very, very basic regular expressions on the whiteboard. Put this up so it'll clear the screen. No, I didn't want to start Android Studio. Stop, we're not writing Android apps today. Back to this. Erasing our standard output background thing in the jig. We're going to do some very basic regular expressions. So regular expressions are ugly, powerful, and what's called a write-only language, which is a joke. Because when you write them, especially when you start writing more complex ones, even you yourself, going back later, are going to have trouble reading them. That is not your fault. That is just part of being human. Also, regular expressions, the easiest way to write them is to kind of build into them, and lots and trial and error. Only people who use them a lot constantly can just like magically go like, regular expression to do this complex thing. Also, like sometimes there are cases where you can't get 100% to the thing you want to match, but you can get to 90% and then you can kind of do manual cleanup afterwards. That's okay. That's also okay. Okay, so regular expressions are a way, they're kind of like wildcards on steroids. So like, let's just do just like a wildcard in regular expressions. So if I wanted to match hello, so I have the word hello. The simplest regular expression that matches hello, as this is the input, is hello. That matches just hello. So like, it's just like, well done, they're the same thing. So like a wildcard, like if you're thinking about kind of generic wildcards, like how they exist in some other languages, hell star would be like, it would match hello and hella and a bunch of other stuff, right? That actually doesn't work in regular expression. Regular expression for, instead of a star, it uses a dot. Hell dot. Dot means match any character, except a new line. What if we wanted to match hello or hello or something like that? Well, this one, like a dot, represents any one individual character. There's another thing that's useful. Okay, so we have the dot so far. The star. Remember the star I said that doesn't do the wildcard? What star does is any number of the thing just before it. Which is kind of weird. So this would match anything that begins with hell and stuff. It'll also work with individual letters. So if they do HEL star, it'll match anything that's HE, it'll match HEL, HELL, HELLL, and any number, as long as there keeps being L's, it'll go find the next chunk. All right. This is enough to actually get you pretty far. Okay, so we know the dot, we know the star. Square brackets. Square brackets are what's called character classes. So what this does is it's kind of like a little or thing. So this one will match things that begin with HEL, and then the next letter has to be either lowercase a or lowercase l. You can also match like, you can also use a dash in these things to do like letters. So the common case you're going to use for character classes is 0 through 9, if you want to match a number. Or another really common one you'll see. Ah! Blue. Too much blue. Come on, stop being blue. I want to write more. Yay, you stop being blue. Anyway, okay, so another really common one you'll see. lowercase a to lowercase z, capital A to capital Z. That will match any letter, but it won't match a number.
There's no spaces in there.
No spaces. Well, if you put a space in there, it'll match a space.
Ah,
So it'll take a space as a literal in that sense. So, okay, so we have a couple things. We have and like there's other ways you can use it. You can do other crazy stuff with it. That's like 99% of the time it's all okay, so now we have some really basic regular expression stuff.
Can you do a double regular expression? Like, for example, HEL bracket AL bracket. Can you then add another bracket and put in another parameter?
Yes, yeah, you can chain these together as long as you want. They don't have to be at the end, they can be anywhere. So we can have, like another common one you'll see is character class, lowercase h, capital H. So what this one will search for is hello with any number of L's, including 0, a lowercase or a capital H to begin.
including zeros?
Well, they're not including zeros. Like the star is 0 or more,
Oh.
whatever was before. So 1 L would work, so it's 0 L. So this would match, the things that this would match would be these are 3 of the things that would match. It's kind of bizarre. If you want at least one, I'll put one more up there. I don't want to give too much before we start playing with them. But like star is 0 or more of something. A plus sign is 1 or more. So we want at least 1 L. We'll just change that star to a plus. And then we get at least 1. Okay, and then there's one other thing before we start playing with them. If in doubt, like for example, say I actually wanted to search for a plus sign, or I actually wanted to search for a left bracket. So if in doubt, if there's something and it's behaving weird, just start adding more backslashes. So a backslash is a special character that says, that next thing, if it has a special meaning, ignore that special meaning. I actually want to find that. So like, if plus is behaving weird, and you actually want to search for a plus, backslash plus. We'll actually look for the plus. And if you want to search for a backslash, backslash, backslash. And it just turtles all the way down. It just gets more and more bizarre. So if things are behaving strange, just try adding more backslashes. Again, like these are going to be really trial and error. Okay. Let's try playing with these a little bit. I'm going to bring up a program. We haven't talked about how to use these in any of these tools yet. Or should we use ePrep? We'll use ePrep. I will start. It's clear. I know how to use the screen. I swear. Okay, let me make sure there's nothing else in the slide you wanted to talk about. Yeah, we talked about all those things. Okay. Let's actually do some stuff with it. We're going to look for display lines that we bet they contain thou or thou. And then we're just going to go through some ones that you guys can think of. All right. We're going to use a program. So there's grep. We talked about grep. There's another grep, enhanced grep. egrep is just like grep, except it takes regular expressions instead of strings. So cat Hamlet. More? Hey, it's actually working. Like a lot of these things, I do a lot of trial and error to figure these things out because there's no risk. It doesn't cost anything to try them. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we just take Hamlet and we search for thou, lowercase thou. We get a whole bunch of lines, but we missed all the ones where thou started the line because it was capitalized. So let's add a character class. Now we can do a lowercase or a capital T.
Everything, pretty much.
And now we get, well, we don't know if it's everything. We get slightly more lines. Like you can actually check. So let's remember that word count command I briefly touched on to check. We can actually pipe this to WC-L, which is, wasn't going to cover it, but I guess it's surprisingly useful because this is too much for us to actually read. You can always add WC space dash L, and it'll tell you the number of lines you have. So like, you have 189 matches for the capital or the lowercase. You have 168 for the lowercase, and just the capital is 21. So those numbers actually add up.
We trust the math.
We trust them. It's not always wise to trust. Sometimes things behave very strangely. Okay, let's do something else. Oh, remember Evermore and Sycamore? Let's do that properly now. This one's going to be, so there's probably some fancy regular expression we could write using characters we haven't covered yet. But let's try doing this with just what we know so far. Evermore and Sycamore. So Sycamore, we got 1. Evermore, we have 3, 2. How could we create a regular expression that will search for either of those?
Star and more.
Star more, that's right. So star more is going to get a little weird because we don't have anything before the star. Because the star, what the star does is it repeats the thing
Looking for
before.
a star.
Hmm?
Is it look? Oh, no.
So if we want to do like a wildcard, we can do that. Because now what that'll look for is it'll look for any character, any number of times.
Okay.
But that gives us a whole bunch of stuff. It gives us everywhere we use
Including spaces.
included spaces. Right, you're onto something.
Okay.
How would we not match the space?
Letters. A to Z.
Sounds great. How would I write that?
Bracket.
Where would I put the brackets?
Inside the first quote.
Right. A to Z, A to Z. Oh, but we want at least one. Let's do that plus. It worked.
Pluses.
Plus is it because what star does 0 or more. Like star is like, it's a trap usually.
Because with star, we were able to find instances where more it's by itself was shown.
Exactly, because 0 characters before it. The star meant, the star here meant 0 or more of these A to Z's. So we ended up with some that didn't have a letter, like here, and here, and here. We want at least one. Another option is we don't use the count modifier at all. We just like, because this will match exactly one character, exactly one letter. So Evermore and Sycamore have at least one letter. There's an R and an A. So,
Exactly.
well, it's not matching, so it doesn't have to match the whole word to get the line. It's going to give us any line that contains that pattern, the regex. So the regex we're looking for here is R more and A more, and that's sufficient. There might have been other things that would have matched, but that actually, in this case, that worked out beautifully. In this case, like this program is not perfect, I would call it done. Like if we wanted a perfect program, we could do something completely ridiculous. Like Evermore, Sycamore.
Okay, yeah. I got it.
Does this actually work? This was that will actually like perfectly match it. It's a ridiculous implementation, but it would work. There might be a case where you have to do that. It's like it may seem silly. It's fine.
This might be the right time to ask. I have a homework problem where I have to search for filing to start with this plus 3 digits.
Plus 3 digits.
Yeah. And I don't, and this is, we should be able to do it with one wildcard command.
With one wildcard?
Yeah, I don't know if we want to do that now or.
Sure. So you're using. So the way I would probably solve that might be different than the way, because I would do that with a regular expression. So find dot slash. So we're doing find. We're getting a list of files. So what if we want to find stuff that begins with like C? O-N. So one way, we use eRep. So we have part of that. We have everything that begins with C-O-N. Although we're going to have to invoke another part of regular expressions to do that, which is the begins with, which is, whoop, I can never remember which one it is. It's either that or the dollar sign. I can never remember. Can't work it all. More backslashes. Oh, it's because it doesn't begin with it, because there's the two signs.